Well, oh, what's this? Something brand new. Oh, let's see what this is. Gene Simmons on Prince. How pathetic that he killed him. Are you fucking kidding me? Every single time we talk about Gene Simmons, it has nothing to do with his music. Nothing. Zero. We said that about Ivan Moody and how that's a problem. We said that about Wes Scantlin about how that's a problem. It's a problem with Gene. It's a problem with Ted Nugent too, but it's been kind of quiet recently. So what the hell is this? The last time we talked about Gene Simmons was that old beef with NWA over the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That seems kind of tame compared to this. Let's read this and make sure that it's not just a clever headline that's clouding something that's not really all of that bad. So Kiss bassist vocalist Gene Simmons spoke to Newsweek about the recent deaths of music legends such as David Bowie and Prince. And Simmons' response was that Bowie was the most tragic of all of them because it was real sickness. As for Prince, his drugs killed him. Simmons explained, "What do you think? He died from a cold?" Trademark humor right there. Because drugs or, any sort of addiction isn't a disease at all. It's not any sort of medical issue. It's just somebody that's actually extremely selfish that just decides to walk up into a pill container and just go, wah, 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 wah. Doesn't matter what it is. They just take whatever it is that they want. They don't have a singular vice. They just want drugs and alcohol. It doesn't matter the brand, the make, the model. It's like a car owner who's obsessed with buying cars. He doesn't give a crap if it's a $400,000 Mercedes-Benz, or if it's some piece of shit that's been hanging out in some idiot's yard for 40 years and is rusted. They just buy it all, It's not like food addiction where, I'm getting way off course here, let's continue. It's really hard to not respond to things that he says because his generalizations are part of the reason why he's talked about so much and why the reactions occur to his words so much. It's not that he has to be incredibly specific. It's the fact that Gene seems to lack a little bit of empathy, considering he himself had an addiction for many, many years. But we'll get to that. Simmons adds that he still holds Prince in high regard as a musician, which he should. Prince's career is absolutely iconic. I think that Prince was hands and feet above all the rest of them, he said. I thought that he left Michael Jackson in the dust. It's debatable to some, but Prince is probably the more dynamic of the two. Prince was way beyond that, but how pathetic that he killed himself. Don't kid yourself. That's what he did. Slowly, I'll grant you, but that's what drugs and alcohol is. A slow death. Earlier today, there was a news story, or it may have actually been late yesterday, where Steven Tyler, speaking about Prince, said that Prince died so he could live. Basically, to understand how prescription pill addiction is a real thing. How that's become the newest sensation, the newest craze, is ever since the mid-portion of the 2000s. And it's something that happens under the guise that it's being used, that these pills are being prescribed to aid people, to help people. If you consider and remember the death of Michael Jackson, it was based off of similar idea, and that was something that was transformed into a real media maelstrom based off of what happened with the doctor. That was seen as a little bit more purposeful. But prescription pill addiction is something that's a major problem in today's society, especially here in America, based around the idea that you're being diagnosed for things that perhaps you would never see diagnosed 20 or 30 years ago. There are treatments that you didn't see 20 or 30 years ago, and really it seems as though the doctor has become the new drug dealer. That was something that Steven Tyler himself has said, and it's been echoed by many, not only within the industry, but throughout the country. So, but the word pathetic is really the pathetic part of this entire discussion. The fact that the word pathetic was used. Gene Simmons, of course, has a notorious past of his own, where he decided that he was going to sleep with a bunch of people. Could that be considered an addiction? No, it was just fun! Well, that's what people say about drugs and alcohol. No, I'm just having a little bit of fun. And then they are faced with crippling addiction. Gene, your word choice, I understand you're meant to try to be a little direct. You're trying to tell it how it is. But, empathy is a thing that you may want to try. Empathy is the reason why that certain things are blown out of proportion, perhaps. The 66-year-old Kiss rocker who claims to have never been high or drunk, of course not, says he will never understand why so many iconic musicians fall into drug abuse. The one question I have is, when we all start out and we have these big dreams and finally get your wish, you have more money than God and fame, what is that insane gene in us? A lot of us, that makes us want to succumb to the cliche of cliches, drugs, and alcohol. I don't know, why do you want to fuck a bunch of people? Quite frankly, I mean, yeah, there's some pretty hot people out there. It sounds like a pretty fun idea. Just go around and do that. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's how the threesome goes, right? It's right up there within it. I mean, come on. This is a no-brainer in this case, and it's just a bit ridiculous. Let's keep going. Simmons says he's also planning on being around for a while. Goody for us. At some point, my hair and teeth are going to fall out. Maybe your voice will die. At some point, you'll see pathetic Gene Simmons at 80 years old with a colostomy bag and a wheelchair. I'll grant you it'll be a studded wheelchair, and I'll have a hot nurse wheeling me around. I really enjoy getting up every... You know what, Gene? Just to prove that you have no libido problem. Why isn't it 4 hot nurses? Why isn't it some sort of fivesome of nurses? They're all sisters, and for no reason at all, just because they want to make you happy. They diddle themselves in front of you every single goddamn day. You have some incestuous fivesome that occurs right in front of your 80-year-old, toothless, hairless, hopefully voiceless, decrepit, wheelchair-bound corpse. Why not? I mean, you're already saying you're going to have a hot nurse in a studded-out wheelchair that's probably built by the same guy that did rims and such for half of the goddamn rap stars that you love-based. So, I mean, why do that? Maybe you should have something that's a little bit more geared toward what Kiss is all about. Maybe have the rims of the wheelchair tires actually have a giant Gene Simmons tongue that goes out both directions. Why not? Jesus. It's the fact right now that you're basically... You're fulfilling a stereotype, and then you're blaming somebody because they supposedly fulfilled a stereotype. It's insanity. It's stupidity. Gene, we've talked a lot in the past couple of years about some of the things that you've said. Once again, I will reiterate the fact that you have toured, but you've not released any new material in that time frame for review. It's the reason why Gene Simmons' music is never really called into question, because there's nothing new to review. Maybe instead of focusing all of this attention on making headline news with your mouth, maybe you can make some headline news with your band, with some new material, with something that isn't all of that bad, or something to submit so you may be judged. You're being judged anyway. Not only by myself, but by many people who are running with these stories, but perhaps this is something where it should be more about what Kiss's legacy is all about, because I'm going to be honest with you, some people don't want to believe this, and I don't want to believe it myself, but recently, whenever I think about Kiss, I think about Gene Simmons. And whenever I think about Gene Simmons, I think about all the stupid garbage that is spewed from his mouth in the past 2 years, and it makes me angry. It makes me not care about the band whatsoever. Really, it's said that new Kiss fans are born each and every day. I don't see why they should be. I really don't. I don't see why they should be. And really, half of your fan base is drug-addled as well. No doubt it has alcohol problems and things like that. Perhaps you should go to each and every one of their houses. Use your money for a little bit of good. Go and give them a little bit of help. Aid them a bit. Make sure that they don't become the next victim. Maybe you should do the same with some superstars that you're perhaps very close with. Talk to Steven Tyler or something like that. What I'm saying is that I see a lot of talk that has happened over the course of the past 2 years, and really I want to see some action to back that up a little bit. That's the one thing that I will say. Considering you do have the financial ability, you do have the prowess, and you do have the celebrity to really back that up. Either that, or if you don't want to do that, if you want to be lazy, then give some of your goddamn money to somebody who actually will do it. That's all I'll say about that. Jesus Christ. If any of you out there know somebody that appears to be abusing some prescription pills, some prescription drugs, hard drugs, or alcohol, talk with them. Talk with people that are close with them. Work with them to help them. This is not something where somebody that's high above needs to talk down to people and expect things to just magically go away. It is a process that takes time. It's a process that takes effort. It takes a lot of heart. There are heartbreaks that occur within it. It's something that is not easy to dispel of. It is not a demon that very easily jumps off of the shoulder or jumps off of the back. It is one that requires a lot of work. Words alone do not do the work. There's got to be a little bit of action and a little bit of aid that is accompanied with that. So if you know somebody out there that has this issue, give them a helping hand. Help them out. That way, another tragedy can be avoided, perhaps. I've said this for the past couple of videos that I've done regarding Gene Simmons. And thus far, it has not become a reality. But I will continue to say the statement. Principally because it is my true hope. But it consistently becomes not reality. I hope that this is the last time we talk about Gene Simmons in this sort of way for quite some time. I would love to talk about Gene Simmons in a positive light. You don't understand. I would love to do that. I would love to talk about some new Kiss music. Even though I'm not the biggest Kiss fan, I would love to see what they can produce. I would love to see and talk about Gene doing something very uplifting and positive. I would love to do that. It's just not what's happening. And that's sad. So I once again state, Gene, I hope that I don't have to talk about you once again for a very long time. Please make that happen. Please. I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Any comments about this? Any thoughts? Of course, the comments box is your haven. My name is CoverKillerNation. And I will talk to you guys next time. Take care.